Good evening, and welcome back to Savannah by Night, our Vampire the Masquerade Chronicle. As I always like to mention, we have discussed amongst ourselves various safety tools, primarily because this is a heavy game, or at least it very much can be. If any player feels uncomfortable or wants to adjust uh, an ongoing scene, skip through it, or get through it entirely, all they have to do is say so. The whole point is to have fun and not get mired down in bleak darkness, despite it being called a World of Darkness game. On this channel, we also play D&D on Tuesdays in our Hellenic Greece game, sort of a prehistory ancient alien shenanigans thing where we just left the salaciousness of Sparta and on our way to Thebes to perhaps meet the final chapter of that story. However, there are other games and mini-series that pop up on the channel, so please look into our socials, our Discord, and you'll see events and up-to-date schedules there. Does anyone else have any links or plugs or shameless
Beat me to it.
self-promotion?
Yes, I added the event in Discord today, so you can find the deets there. October 13th and 20th, I will be guesting in this year's two-part Kids on Bikes game with our friends at Top Down Tabletop. Come see me play a bratty teenager in 1995.
Nice. Anything else?
I wish I could remember when he said he was going to do it, but our Tuesday DM and stream founder Aaron is going to be over on Marquee Gaming in the relatively near future
It
to
is
do one of
a
their like horde
Friday
mode
in
sort of
October.
things. It's super fun to watch. They like to have all sorts of little things that can allow chat participation. And yeah, yeah, lots of fun. We love them over there at Marquee Gaming. So check that out when it happens. Keep your eyes peeled.
And I thought I had them on here, but apparently I don't. Oh well. I was going to go check their events, but I can't find the channel in my many, many Discords at the moment. So,
Samesies. We'll add that
uh,
into Discord though. We'll get details.
okay. So, if there's nothing else further, let's tell a vampire story. Last time on Savannah by Night, Cora left the track feeling reinvigorated. She allowed Artem to take the Range Rover to drive Chris and himself back to the Seneschal's home for the day, while she drove her new prize back to Elysium, with Poppy in the passenger seat. Eventually, picking up Tabby on the way and having her crawl into the trunk. Just as Poppy was remarking on how kind the local kindred seemed to be, they were collectively reminded of the limitations of that southern hospitality. A simple misunderstanding at the gates of Wormslow put on full display how seriously the security staff take their job as a gun was swiftly pressed against Tabby's head. Told to get back in the car and go up to the main house, the keeper explained to them the many whys of the issue and gave Cora a bit of a reminder that she had been given the keys and was responsible for a car no longer in her possession. However, it being with the seneschal seemed to alleviate the misstep. This time, Kate received a more sedate, contemplative discussion from a clanmate rather than the overbearing browbeating that being a Ventru has accustomed her to. But it was in meeting back up with Belle that perhaps she was able to put away the trappings of her bloodline and simply talk as two people, at least for a moment. Artem was finally shown the other half of his arrangement with the Seneschal of Savannah. Time, storms, and unfortunately necessary neglect has led to the otherwise once proud estate falling to drudgery and disrepair. Though upon spending some time surveying the totality of it, Artem surmised that, while it would be a lot of work, it was within his ability to mend. But let us pick up at Wormslow itself with our trio. They had arisen for the evening, had a little chat. Texts had been sent and received. Poppy had received a text message from her sponsor, as it were. Tabby also received one in the intervening minutes from Lila, saying that someone was coming to pick her up at the main house. No, wouldn't be her. She's busy. Cora, have you been sending any texts since you've been up?
Only that one to Kate so far.
Mm-hmm. Can you remind us what it said?
I simply remarked that I was sorry to see that she'd left the cottage so soon, so we didn't really get a chance to talk. And I invited her over, if she wanted to. BYOB, of course. But where are my manners, though? We're all together and we're all looking at our phones.
Well, yeah, we're not really beating the I guess millennial. She like looks at either of you, just being like, "How old are these people really?" Allegations, I suppose. I'm chronically online.
Chuckle at that a
Sometimes.
little.
Yeah.
For me, it was always business keeping me chained to my phone.
That makes sense. Makes sense. I was going to head up to the main house at some point to meet with Nico. Yeah, I guess at some point. I'm guessing he'll text me when he's on the way. I'm a little nervous, to be honest. I don't really know what job he's gonna have me do around here, so but it should be good. It should be good. Poppy's like getting her hair in order as she's saying all of this.
Has
I need to head
she...
that way too, actually. If you want, we could walk together, or I could give you a ride over there.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Either way, whichever. I know you have a very precious baby now.
Has Poppy done anything about her outfit, knowing that she has to meet up with Nico?
She's put a little more thought into her appearance, and tried to kind of put together a nice outfit with what she has, which isn't a lot, but like she took care to like put on the jewelry that she has, and like maybe some nice earrings to try and make herself look a little more alluring
Hmm.
than perhaps she did previously.
Is she wearing a necklace set?
Oh, you know what? She might. Yeah. So I think she. Oh, this is funny. Okay, so she's put together this like t-shirt jeans combination, very casual but like well curated, but is wearing these huge diamonds around her neck. There are two of them, I think, right? I think two of them.
It was basically this plate of diamonds,
Yeah, yeah.
effectively.
And I think earrings as well. I think she has some of those too, if
Mhm.
I'm recalling correctly. So she'll do
She
those up and put her
thoroughly
hair up for that.
she went on a thorough shopping trip.
Yes. Yeah. That's a great point.
Mhm.
Yeah. So she has this very dressed down outfit, but with this crazy jewelry on.
I would say because Cora, in one extent or another, has been around some version of the 1%. You wouldn't be able to know the carrots, but you would know some measure of quality when you see it. You know, this isn't just from, I'm trying to think of what the mall brand is in the US. It's like
Claire's.
Claire's. Yeah, I was thinking Claire's and Arden's, which I think Arden's is Canadian. So it doesn't look like something from that.
Um, I think Cora would just sort of make a note of it for now, rather than
Mm.
make any immediate remarks.
Mm. So are you heading up to the house?
Yeah. I mean, did you want to walk, or is that like I don't want to make you take out the car and do that whole song and dance unless you really want to.
Walking and driving are equally loved in Germany. Let's walk.
Sounds good.
I will remind you it is a bit of a walk from the cottage to the main house.
Like, how much are we talking a bit?
Yeah.
Like, how long's it gonna take us? We're
Like
vampires, we're not gonna get tired.
a good 40 to 60 minutes.
Damn.
That's a while. Okay.
Mm.
We've never walked it though.
That's true. We have not.
No,
So we
you've
don't
driven
know.
it. You've driven it enough times to be able to have an understanding of that amount of time. And
Okay.
you being a driver for a living, you'd be able to go, that's a good long while.
You know what? I'm gonna start heading for the door, and then as we go to the door, I'll take out the car keys. And go, on second thought, it is a bit of a long way. Just in
Poppy
case someone's
kind of-
waiting for us.
Yay. I was kind of hoping for that, to be honest.
Now, do you let Tabby walk? Do you put her in the trunk? Or do you let her sit on your lap? Or do you like strap her to the hood? Or like, what do you got some options here. You just got to pick one.
I know Tabby would probably insist on the trunk, but we're not going to do that again.
No, I'm scarred for life, actually.
Gosh.
What if I get in the trunk this time? Or I could, she like looks at Tabby, kind of tries not to obviously like sniff the air near Tabby. Or I could sit on your lap, or vice versa if we had to. like double buckle, like you do in
I would
high
say
school.
Tabby would get not blushy, but the coloration of the tips of her ears would change. And it would be this mishmash of not knowing, do you sit in my lap? Do I sit in yours? But either way, that seems to be the way to gravitate.
Great.
But as you get closer to the car, that there's this, oh, I guess I can go in the trunk. Like maybe not thinking that you're gonna follow through with the gesture.
I think in that is how tall of a person is Tabby? I forget. I feel
I think
like
Tabby is also more knees and elbows than you were expecting in a way. They don't unfurl to, 10 feet 30 or something. But they're not Sam.
if only you could see our producer's face right now.
Hey, you made a big point about your height earlier, so I'm just playing into it.
He's very tall to me.
He's 6 feet, guys.
7 feet even.
But Tabby would look both shorter than she is and taller at the same time.
Cool. Since it does look like she's a bit more, probably a little bonier than Poppy is, Poppy will get in and kind of like slide in the passenger seat and then pat her lap like Santa Claus and go, all right.
There would be this awkward jangling of limbs as they try and get into the car with you, on you. And there's a moment where they don't know what to do with their arms. Do they wrap around you? Do they wrap around themselves? And there would be this somewhat childlike quality of trying to shrink in on their own shoulders and maybe nestle in.
Cool.
Meanwhile, Cora's been walking this whole time, or what?
I mean, I'm just waiting for them to get as safe as they
Situated.
can while we're gonna get ready to drive here.
Okay.
Once it seems like the amount of shifting has subdued itself, Cora will go ahead and say, and just at least brace yourself on the roof or something. I'm not going to drive crazy, but this is a little unusual. And then she'll get started.
It is a quiet and I suppose slow drive through the private drive.
I'll roll the driver's window down too.
Is that your way of saying the Tabby smells a little bit? Or are you just trying to get a nice breeze?
I'm just trying to get a nice breeze.
Okay. I had to check. You're able to enjoy a little more of the night air, some of the sounds, though they are overtaken by even the lowest rumble that this engine can produce.
Did Jimmy mod the exhaust, or is it stock?
There's a bit of a mod, but it's not anything too egregious. It just has a little bit more of a flaring to it.
Okay. Interesting. So not like a Borla, probably.
Yeah. So you probably would know how to adjust it when you have some time. It's almost like it was maybe put on by someone else who knew what they were doing. Well, there's probably some other
totally
mods
fine.
that are, there's probably some other mods that he slapped together himself, or he at least bought himself and didn't consult anyone smarter.
I like it. You gotta experiment.
mhm.
Sometimes you gotta fail before you succeed.
Like the gear knob is something gaudy.
Perfect.
It's like a crystal 8-ball or something like that.
Beautiful.
Like off-brand Swarovski, that kind of thing.
Did he leave like any dangling rearview mirror ornaments?
No, nothing like that. I'm trying to think of a way to really show how gross this person is without getting really into the news. If anybody were to check the center console or the glove box, there's a bottle of baby oil, and we're gonna leave it at that. Jimmy's well, he's no longer in the picture. We're gonna leave it at that. It's probably a good thing you're airing out the windows. So, it's not a very long drive, but you are taking it slow because of the additional passenger and trying to enjoy a little bit of the night and still not maybe entirely used to the road despite the fact that it is straight, but there are no other lights other than what you put out there. Visibility is low. And there is a little bit of a low mist creeping in.
Pay attention for the glimmers of reflective eyes. I know that there is an important dog who walks around here, and I do not want to be responsible for hitting the pupper.
I would say you're not going to notice any. Probably because if they are there, they're smart enough to stay away from that. Hopefully. Now, you do get up to the house. You do have a bit of time to kill because you are relatively close, as you are on the same property. If you are meeting anyone, it's going to take them a little bit longer to get there. However, in that time, Cora, you did receive a text. You probably didn't check it until you got out of the car, I would hope.
I'm a responsible driver.
Mm.
I like to go fast, but I do it in an honorable way.
Fair enough. When you park and you're able to check your phone, it will say in German, "Good evening. It's Heinrich. Hope you're well."
Cora's gonna smile at this.
Calm down, Dreamy.
Not the message I was expecting tonight.
Mm.
And she will go ahead and message back. I see you decided to give you my number after all. Doing well. Nice to hear from you.
You get no reply right now. But you're at the house. Do you get out? Do you just sit in front of the house, or what are we doing here?
Oh, I'm getting out of the car, of course.
Okay.
Right when we stopped, I probably would have and checked the message after I opened the door.
I would say Tabby would have this awkward pause of not knowing, do I jump off of Poppy? Do I linger? Is one or the other more rude? Does it send a message I don't know what I'm sending?
I think Poppy will jiggle her knees a little bit under Tabby to be like, okay, we're done.
Okay. That'll send her scuttling.
Rides over.
And I presume you go up to the actual house.
Yeah. Is there like a parking area? Or is it just like a driveway to a...
Yeah, do we
It's-
have like the semicircular drive?
Kind of. It's more a gravel area rather than pavement. Kind of the same way the road is not paved.
Is anyone parked? So it's like just kind of a rectangular gravel patch. Is there
Mhm.
anyone else parked near the building? And is it like
There
in the very
are-
front, or are we coming around like a back way?
You're up at the main entrance of the house. There are a few cars. Some that you would have seen before. Fairly nondescript looking in comparison. It's a good bet that at least one of them would belong to Atherton. Some security staff. And knowing how there are different little pockets on the estate, there's probably other places where cars are parked. So, which probably explains why you're not seeing a lot of cars, but you know, or you've noticed security at the gate. There's probably a place where they've parked just inside or stuff like that. And that seems manned fairly consistently.
And nondescript, no funny bumper stickers. For this area, at least.
No. It's you would see
Any vanity plates?
just Jimmy's, and I'll let you figure out what that one is.
Oh no.
We're gonna have to do something about that.
Mhm. Congratulations. You would see a familiar beef-necked individual in a suit at the door. But he's not barring your passage. He's just being present by the door. Do you say anything to him? Do you acknowledge him, or do you just walk on by?
I'll say hi. Like,
Good evening.
hi, how you doing?
Evening.
I'm waiting for a friend of mine to swing by and pick me up, and he said just to meet here. Is that all right?
I have no opinion on the matter.
Awesome. Love that. Love that.
You don't need to explain to me your business. The house
Really?
is open to all of your kind to meet.
It's
I don't
very
need to be privy
nice.
to the details.
Okay. What's your name again?
Bruno.
Bruno. I'm so sorry. I knew it and then I forgot it. Thanks, Bruno. Appreciate it. I'm Poppy, but you probably already knew that. And she kind of like walks in.
Now, does she walk in as she's saying that a little smugly, a little sprightly, or nervously? What's the vibe she's trying to sell with that?
I think she's genuinely just being kind of friendly, being like, "You're doing your job. Good for you. I hope to have a job too someday." Walks in. Like it's not very she's not trying to get anything out of the conversation other than just saying like that she's happy he's here, I guess.
He has nothing but a stony expression to that.
Cool.
It's a little Buckingham Palace guard-esque where it's just,
Challenge accepted. Good to know. Thanks, Graham.
You remember what happened the last time people fucked around with security here, right?
Yeah.
And the time before that?
Yeah, well.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So the three of you head in. Unless anybody would like to antagonize the guard. No? All good?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I'll let my actions correct for our previous interactions.
All right. So you walk in and it's fairly quiet. Unlike the first night where it was bustling, and the second night where you were met with both Atherton and then Edward and Lila, there's no rush of activity. Atherton does find you, however, swiftly. Oh, well, good evening. How are we doing so far? Either one.
I could tell if you were about to say something.
Being very courteous.
And we're like, and
letting
after
each
you.
other, like whichever. I'm
Well,
okay
I do
either way.
appreciate the standoff, but one of you needs to start speaking sometime in this calendar year. Time is passing us by.
Well, you got me. Uh, good evening. Poppy needed a ride up to the house, and I was the person to do it. And I did want to apologize for our arrival last evening. I know it was less than ideal. I should know better than that. And I know it put us all in an awkward position. So I know I promised to correct it before, but truly, if there's anything that I can do to smooth things over, I'd like to make sure that you know that I'm available.
Well, that is very good to hear. I will say that simply fessing up to the issue and some contrition, by and large, ameliorates the problem. There's no grudge to hold over it. However, if Mr. Autumn does not deliver the car within short order, that might be a different conversation we have.
Poppy's gonna take her phone out and just quickly I'll make sure that he understands that as well. And text Artem, hey, Atherton's gonna need the car soonish. Just a heads up. Smiley face. The eye roll of it all.
Is he like mid holding nails between his teeth as he's trying to fix something at the moment, or?
Probably, yeah.
Okay.
Though I guess he does have a plan to leave tonight, so
Probably.
we'll see.
Probably getting started on something.
Yeah.
We'll get to that in a minute. But in all honesty, I understand the foibles of youth, despite some of us being quite old. We understand that mishaps and mistakes will happen. However, repetition of those same mistakes will be a problem. However,
Of course.
if you are learning and you're making new mistakes that at least aren't severe, well, that can be worked with. So, what sort of mistakes are we getting up to this evening?
Well, I'm waiting for my friend Nico to pick me up. He texted me to meet me here. So I'm not quite sure. Nervous.
I'm sure you will find out soon enough, my dear.
And for myself, I haven't decided. I'm a bit of a free agent tonight. It's a nice feeling. One I got used to in Frankfurt, I think. So I'm going to enjoy it a little bit longer.
Well, if you're keen to stick around, you and I could discuss a few things.
Excellent, of course.
And Ms. Mohn. And there's a discussion that she's going to be picked up by someone as well. You want to say something there, Sam? Or okay. Towie's probably just going to amble off, maybe to explore the house a little bit. Would you two like be shown to a parlor or something, or would you like to simply explore the house, your own devices?
Poppy, have you been to the library?
No, I don't think so.
Are
I'd
you
love to.
interested?
Yeah, absolutely.
May I show Poppy to the library?
Oh, please be my guest.
And that's what we'll do.
Books.
Tabby, are you interested too? You're sort of skulking off.
There's a certain amount of hesitation and reticence. And you get the impression that because Lila's not the one picking up Tabby, that now there's an apprehension of who is.
Okay.
So they're gonna wait near the door and probably make Bruno or attempt to make Bruno uncomfortable.
That all feels on brand for Tabby,
Yeah.
so
I think that's a great idea. Yeah.
Mhm. So we'll just off-screen Tabby now, since Tara won't be joining us this evening. Now you bring Poppy to the library.
I didn't have a chance to look at it extensively the other night, but once we were all separated to meet each of our families, Leland took me up this way.
What is Leland's role again? Do I know that? Would I know that?
Oh, sorry, whose role?
Leland in the hierarchy, or is he?
You would not have met him.
I would not have met him. Okay. So Poppy would probably ask, and who is Leland? What does he do?
He's one of our. From what I understand, he helps us understand ourselves. At least Malkavians.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
Like
know.
an-
Maybe he would do the same for you.
He helps you under like a interpreter.
Like a therapist.
Oh, that's so cool.
I don't know how much you know about us.
Only a little bit. Sort of. Not a whole lot. And Poppy kind of like fidgets with her shirt. But that's amazing that you have like a therapist. All of the clans should have one, right? Probably.
Probably,
good.
honestly.
Yeah. Very cool. Have you already had like a session with him in that case?
Oh no,
No, okay.
I just arrived just like you. So
Oh yeah. So he brought you. I'm sorry. He brought you to the library to meet with everybody. I got you. Poppy is like very visibly kind of anxious.
As you get to the library finally, it's not just some cubby with books in it. It's fairly expansive to the point where there are little different sitting spots that you could be isolated from a different reader and still not feel like you're crowding each other. You could be alone while still sharing the space. You do see two individuals over a chessboard in a corner. Cora, you would recognize them. One of them as Lump.
I thought so. Cora will
I'll let you get to that in a sec. The other is wearing a dark red burgundy-ish jacket, dirty blonde hair, seemingly quite handsome and wordlessly playing a chess game with the ruined countenance of Lump.
We'll lean into Poppy and say, "Oh, I expected Lump might be here. I met them the other night. I don't know who that is."
Oh. And I think Poppy mentally is like, "Oh, I know which one's Lump. That's easy to see. Do I recognize the person at all, or
No one would.
Okay, cool. Do they look like very intensively concentrating?
Not to the point where they don't realize that you're there. They look like they're paying attention, but not focus locked.
Okay. If they look up at all, Poppy will wave.
You can't see the dirty blonde's face because he's facing towards the corner in the wall. You do see Lump, but the way that their face is, I guess the easiest way to put this, configured, is that it's hard to ever see if they're looking in any one direction. It's almost as if it's dark pits and like teddy bear button eyes at the bottom of that. You can't really tell a sense of direction. It's almost the opposite of old paintings where it always looks like it's following you.
Mm.
These don't seem to comprehend one direction or another. And yet they do seem aware. Do you go over and say anything? How would you like to?
I think if it looks like they're not engaging us, Poppy will not engage them, and we'll look around at the library, at the architecture books, anything that Cora wants to show.
It's funny. Cora will make sure that their path goes a little bit closer so that she can say, "We won't disturb your game if we're walking around and taking a look, will we?"
Lump will glance to the gentleman. Like Michael Keaton's Batman, there's not a lot of neck movement. It's more exaggerated intentionally so that they can telegraph it, look to him, look to you, shake at the shoulders rather than the face or neck. The gentleman on the adjacent side of the board. Oh, no, not at all. Were you wanting to use the board at some point, or?
No, I think well, I'm not to speak for you, Cora, but I am not into chess very much.
Oh, a shame.
Well, I never learned how to play. She kind of laughs.
Oh, well, you should spend some time with Lump. They're a very good teacher.
That would be great. Hi, Lump. I'm Poppy. Nice to meet you.
Lump's head was angled down towards. Are you offering a hand or are you?
Sure, yeah.
Okay. They will look down at the hand. There's that tilt down towards it, and they stare at it like they're not quite comprehending what the gesture is for a second before they reach out, and an equally uncanny valley hand will reach for yours.
Poppy will try to make no obvious surprise at the hand.
And when this, I'm assuming, brief handshake is done.
Yeah, she's not lingering.
Yeah. they will turn their presumed cone of vision towards Cora, and there's a tentative wave of at least recognition.
Cora will say, Cora, I know we met the other night, but I don't think we ever exchanged names, or at least I can't recall.
They nod. The other gentleman, hi, Costello Savini.
Stello Savini. Do you mind saying that first name again? Out of character.
Costello,
Costello. Thank you.
like Abbott and Costello.
Excellent.
It's Savini. That's not an Italian surname, is it?
It is.
Do you speak the
Miss-
language?
He will descend into it. He goes, I recognized it from yours as well, Ms. Violante.
Cora will respond in Italian too. I won't carry on this way, so I'm not rude to our friends. But it's fantastic to meet you.
And, well, for one thing, does Poppy comprehend Italian?
I think she may have spent some time there, but probably not enough to understand every word. Maybe a couple of words she could pick out.
Like the niceties probably or something she
Yeah.
could pick up on, but
yeah,
full conversation probably not.
exactly.
While there's this brief back and forth, there's this seeming impatience from Lump, who is angling the head, looking at the board, angling the head, looking at the board. And it's, sorry, Lump, would you mind if I have a moment? And you can show
Oh, we're
Poppy.
accidentally causing problems again.
Would you mind showing Poppy a little bit about how the game works? And he's going to look at you to see if you're okay with that.
Sure. I don't know if I'll be able to stay long. I am waiting for somebody, but I mean, yeah. Sure.
Okay. He will vacate the chair, and if you allow him, he will push the chair in for you.
That would be nice. Thank you.
And Lump is rapidly resetting the board with no seemingly outward sense of begrudging.
Mm.
It doesn't seem to matter if they were winning or losing. They just wanted to play the game.
Cool.
And Costello will sidestep a little bit with Cora. Not leaving the library, but giving each other a little bit of a silent moment within the library. So I missed what exactly brought you here.
Change of pace, really. Frankfurt was my first city, and I'm fairly young, so it was time for me to strike out on my own.
Yeah, I can understand that.
And you're Italian, like from Italy, Italian.
In a way. A couple of generations removed, but
That's what Cora figured. I guess.
haven't really been.
And so then is Savannah your home for a while?
For a few years now. Not where I'm originally from, but decided I would be of use here. Get away from complications.
I won't ask about the complications, but of use?
Oh, That's usually my name gets around pretty quick on the first couple of days. Suppose I've gotten used to
I'm
that.
sorry to say, I think people have let you down. I haven't heard it yet.
There's when you say when people let you down, it's like a breeze hitting rock. Uh, um, do you know what a Giovanni is?
Do I know what a Giovanni is? Storyteller.
You've heard the clan name. You don't know a lot about them,
Okay. Um,
but the pieces of mob and old country, Italian,
right.
those parts of it do start to ring true a little bit.
Uh, I'd say when I was alive, you would have been the kind of people that I'd be advised to stay away from.
That part of it hasn't really changed. Typically, Lump is one of the few people I get to interact with regularly.
I see.
Hmm.
They seem like a decent person. At least intellectual.
Most people talk too much. Lum says everything they need to with a look.
That's a good quality.
Well, if nothing else, they're a good listener. No. I'm sure there's other things you want to add there, but we're just going to pan the camera over for the other
Absolutely.
people
I've
in the
had
scene.
the screen for a minute.
Mhm. Now, does Poppy know how to play chess at all?
I don't think so. I don't
Okay.
think so. Yeah.
Has Poppy at least played checkers?
Yes,
Okay.
for sure.
They're going to be reaching over the board, and I guess it becomes very clear very quickly that you have no idea what you're doing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So there's going to be a lot of, despite the fact that they are fairly nonverbal, they are constantly pointing at pieces and then pointing at the various points that those pieces could move to.
Okay.
And they are trying to walk you through how to take their pieces away from them, rather
Cool.
than the opposite of taking away your pieces to make a point.
Got it. She'll take the little sketchbook that she keeps like in her bag out and like try taking some notes about the shapes.
Mhm.
She needs that visual, I think.
If you allow them, they'll reach for the pencil or pen or whatever you have,
Yeah, yeah.
and they'll even draw from complete memory. They're not looking at the board, the exact piece, both a side and front and top profile,
Mm-hmm.
and then was it isometric is the right word? That sort of 2D, 3D image of something, and give
I believe
you
it sounds good.
the projected paths that they can take. Like for the knight, it's the L shape,
Mm-hmm.
bishop diagonal, all that kind of stuff. They are spending time maybe not realizing that they're drawing in someone else's sketchbook as much as I'm getting to do a thing and I'm going to do a thing.
Yeah. I think Poppy is kind of just sitting there impressed while they do their thing. Maybe asking questions here and there.
Mhm.
But yeah, I think kind of in awe. Trying to get it.
What they'll also draw is a couple of versions of top down of the board
Mhm.
to show you opening moves to start with. Like they'll draw the little arrows giving you indications of do this, and they'll even start to give um projections of how the game goes if you start that way.
Poppy and Helena just had a really cool idea for a
Mhm.
themed party with a like special electric dance floor chessboard where there are only certain like when you move certain moves, certain things happen in the space. And
Mhm.
Poppy like maybe will like grab the book really quickly and just like flip to a random page and just kind of like write like a couple things down and hand it back. Be like, sorry, constantly coming up with random things.
Do you show them what you were scribbling?
Yeah. She'll be like, so I know this is not what we're talking about, but like if in real life you are on a large chessboard and there are lights and there is music and all of these wonderful things, and you do a certain move and that affects the space, that could be really cool. And I think that's also her coming up with that idea is helping her understand this contained thing.
Mhm. They give you this uncomprehending look. And there's a head scratch, not understanding, it seems, any of that. And they go back to the page where the drawings were starting for all the chess and the projections, and they continue what they were doing a second ago.
Great. I don't think Poppy's gonna push it. She needed that was just kind of a blurb,
Yeah.
a blurt. Paul Blurt, Mall Cop.
You would get the impression in this case that their social skills are quite limited or stunted, or interest is lacking. Um, if you recall, Tabby seemed quite put out by not being able to go to dance parties, and this person is seemingly worse off.
Mm-hmm.
So they may not really understand or may not care. And whatever it is just isn't for them.
Got it.
They don't seem upset. They just don't seem to know what to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
But they're still engaging with you, at least on the thing that you started engaging on.
Yeah.
And at one point they scratched their head. They hold up the awkwardly framed hand. And they take out their phone. They pull up a chess app on their phone. To show, what it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
And then they take out the note app on the phone and go, would you want to play sometime?
Yeah. She'll get her phone out and like download it from the App Store.
Mm-hmm. More importantly, do you trade contact information?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Mhm.
Yeah, she'll offer her phone.
Okay. I'm just gonna pan back out from that a little bit. Back over to Cora. What is the rest of the conversation like? What do you dive into there?
Well, I want to know. I want to see if I can get a little more details about what it is that he does exactly. Because he said he could be useful here. And he kind of got into family history a little bit of.
So what do you ask?
S- So then are you doing sort of under the table things for Elysium or
You don't know what we do you?
I haven't got a clue. I thought you were like the mob.
Um, that is one way to think of the family. But we're known for, amongst other things, raising and manipulating the dead.
Oh. Like in the way other than we're already raised from the dead.
I'm sure someone explained to you that anything you've read about in pop culture your entire life probably exists.
I had a lot of those questions starting out exactly.
Hmm.
Okay, if we're real, what about everything else?
Zombies, spirits, or ghosts, if you want to call them that.
Do you
And
find a lot of them around here in Savannah?
there's a reason why it's called one of the most haunted cities in North America.
I'm intrigued by this. Uh, this wider world that I'm a part of.
Hmm. He'll look over at Poppy and Lump, who are engrossed in chess mechanics, and he'll shuffle you a few steps further away. And the voice lowers a little bit. Often what I do is for the prince or the sheriff, where I help investigate oddities, seeing if a questionable murder scene is just a murder scene or involved in one of us or something else.
See, this is out of my area of expertise, but if you ever need a driver to any one of these sites,
Oh, that would be interesting. Hmm. Have you been to any of the cemeteries yet?
not here in town, no. In Frankfurt, yes, of course.
Hmm. Well, if you don't mind walking through the mist and seeing how spooky things can really get here.
I think I can handle it.
Might have to get your contact info then.
Of course.
And
Does he pull out his phone or?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
It's
And
very
is it like
quick
a
and
hand
efficient.
it over to me sort of situation?
Nope.
Okay.
This is one of those
Tap contacts.
I'd say more like he's holding the phone and there's this flick gesture where it sends the contact.
Okay.
And you realize that you're holding a very similar model of phone so he probably got his from Edward and or Lila.
I see we all have the same service provider around here.
You should ask them how that works at some point.
That's a very good point.
Ask them about Dark Tower.
Mm. You're going to leave that a mystery for me to uncover then.
Of course.
She'll kind of give herself a little note on the app.
As a little bit of banter goes by, a little bit of maybe virtual chess, or at least a bit of banter, Atherton will show up. Oh, Miss Stewart,
Yeah. Hi.
Mr. Roush is here for you.
Great. Thanks, Lump. This was fun. I'll message you on the chess thing.
Now, here's a quick thing. Have you messaged Lump since you've traded contacts?
On the chess app?
Either chess app or the phone itself.
Well, she handed her phone
Mhm.
to them. Did they offer their phone to her?
There would have been a trade if that was something you went for.
Oh, then no, because the contact information would be in there. It's Poppy's understanding.
Well,
Or
what
are
I
you
mean,
talking about Nico?
for Lump, would you have sent any messages to each other while you're communicating about chess to be more communicative rather than just waiting on gestures?
Oh, yeah, yeah. In that
Okay.
case, if that seemed to be a way that they wanted to communicate.
It did seem like it was quicker and easier in some ways.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say broken English, but it's much more there is grammar, but how do I put this?
Like very stripped down.
Very stripped down. If you've ever texted with someone who is deaf or mute, there is full range of comprehension and understanding and use of English, but ASL is not a grammatically rich. It has to be stripped down in order to be expedient.
Yeah.
So there's aspects of that that translate into when they're writing in text. So you're getting a little bit of that, but it is fully legible. There's no room for miscommunication. In the same way that technical English, you know exactly what the person's saying at all times. There are some contextual aspects that you do have to glom onto, but you will quickly learn it. And the fact that you are engaging with them at all, the texts come a little bit faster. But as you get up to leave, there's a little...
She'll wave and head on out.
Okay. Oh, well. Costello will look to Korth. Well, I should get back to my chess partner.
Of course. It was great to meet you.
See you around, Cora.
See you around.
Ciao. And he goes back to his seat. We are going to pan out from this little scene for a bit to get to our others waiting in the wings. We're going to pick up with Kate. Last we saw you were at a parking lot. You were waiting to hear back from a Mr. Innsbruck. What have you been doing in that time?
I got the text from Cora. I am mulling it over. Haven't responded yet. If I haven't heard back, I'll probably head home for a few minutes, do a little more unpacking, and see if it gets to be like uncomfortably long into the night, then I'll probably go out and find something to do.
Okay.
Or reach out to someone on my phone.
I'd say it's probably another 40, 45 minutes from when you saw Belle that you do get a text from Innsbruck. Meet me at the big house.
Okay, Innsbruck told me to wear something I could get messy.
Mm-hmm.
So, casual for Kate, but she is still a Ventru.
Mm-hmm.
I have not gotten my Georgetown hoodie back from Tabby, and now I don't know if I ever will. That might have been a mistake. So she will go even further back and will pull out a Duke sweatshirt, jeans, and hunter boots.
I'll give you something for free.
Uh-huh.
You don't want to wear anything identifiable.
Oh. Okay, then it shouldn't have a lot of casual clothes.
Mm-hmm.
So it will be a sweater. Maybe it's an early days like thrifted Dreyku sweater before she could afford to shop there on her own in like college.
Okay.
But still jeans, hunter boots, and she'll pull her hair back.
And you head out towards Wormslow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You are arriving at the same time as one Nico Rausch, but he's several paces ahead of you, and he's heading into the house. You see he's talking with Atherton. Not that you know who he is, but Rausch is shown to a parlor. Atherton just holds out a finger for you. Just bear with me for just one moment, please. He goes upstairs. A couple more moments pass. He heads back downstairs. Ah, Miss Fulton. How can I be of service this evening?
I'm supposed to be meeting Innsbruck here.
Oh, I see. I could show you to a parlor or salon of some sort if you would like to wait.
Sure. Is there anyone I might know here?
I believe some of your fellow new bloods are upstairs as well.
If you wouldn't mind leading me to them.
Ah. Apologies, one of them would have just been brought off to see someone else. But a Miss Violante would be present if that would suffice.
Of course.
He'll bring you upstairs. And at this point, I would say, Cora, you're probably leaving the library, so you can bump into each other in the hall.
Kate and I, or Poppy and I,
Sorry,
or
Cora and Kate.
okay.
It's a bit messy, but Poppy would have been extracted from the room.
Gotcha. Yes. Miss Fulton, how are you tonight?
Cora, I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to text you back.
That's okay. I understand. You're a busy woman, I'm sure.
If I'm not required, I will see myself out.
Thank you, Mr. Atherton. If you see Mr. Innsbruck, could you point him in my direction?
Of course. And he heads away from whatever the scene's about to be.
And what does Mr. Innsbruck do?
He's the cleaner.
I see. Did that name come across for us at any point before?
Not for you. Not that I recall.
Okay. And she would have asked Kate this as well.
What would you have asked?
Just what I asked that was answered by Graham. That have we met Mr. Innsbruck? Has the name come across for us before?
Mm-hmm.
But
Nope. So, do you want to explain what the cleaner is then for?
Sorry, I wasn't
Mhm.
following what,
Mhm.
since she had asked you what Kate was being asked at that point.
that's what you were being asked. Exactly what I asked.
I don't think you've met him. He's part of my family. Meant to be doing a bit of job shadowing and see what exactly cleaning entails.
Cleaning. Hmm.
Did you not have anyone similar in Frankfurt? In court?
I couldn't tell you if we did exactly.
Did you not spend a lot of time at court?
Hardly, no. No. Um, but I take it you did. You said as much the other night.
It's kind of part and parcel of being my sire's child. But you wouldn't mind sharing, how does a seneschal's child not go to court?
It's interesting, right? We both have important fathers, you could say. But
I think Vesper's a little less father than boss.
oh, I see. No, that isn't how I think of Essen at all. And I wouldn't say that he thinks of me as an employee either. In fact, I was scolded once for trying to do work for him. No, to answer your question, I wasn't for the court exactly. Well, Frankfurt, I had a little space to figure myself out.
To trying to find the right words to ask it politely to figure yourself out in all of your Malkavian nature.
It's part of it, yes, but just adjusting to this new life that we have, if you can call it that.
And is that how the Frankfurt court runs overall?
I couldn't rightly say. I would say, though, that Essen, as the seneschal, as Essen, uh, had a degree of latitude there in Frankfurt. So,
So you never even met your prince?
Cora knows that she's talked herself into this, so there's really no avoiding it at this point. Um, no, I never did.
Fascinating.
Savannah is my first court, you could say.
And how do you find it?
Well, bloody, for one. But the prince seemed fair-minded, if strict, and I can't say I'm terribly surprised. Atherton is pleasant. And I don't know much about any of the others at this point.
And your Primogen?
She strikes me as someone who knows how to get things done, how to keep that position. You know, I'm told we have our peculiarities as Malkavians, so.
So it would seem she plays politics much more than your Essen did.
Oh, I wouldn't say necessarily that Essen didn't play politics, just that it wasn't my space.
And I'm sorry, I've asked you so many questions. I feel impolite, like I put you on trial.
We're in Elysium, so I guess it goes with the territory. But no, it sounds like your experience must have been quite different than mine then.
Very different. I was attending court before even being embraced.
You were. So, did you know at the time that that's what you were doing?
Yes, was training. Be given the gift
Interesting.
of ghoul. Show that you're worth even in the first step before being taken to the next step.
Oh, you were a ghoul first. Do you know if that happens often?
Graham for Ventru?
It's not excessively common. Like it's not
Like the
required.
standard? Yeah.
It's not a requirement, but it's common enough. And you would know that Venture are not the only ones that do it.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, one of the ones that you would know, based on discussions, is it's even more common, if not the most common, among Giovanni.
I don't know. There's one of those here yet. It
Dramatic irony is fun for everyone.
it can be standard for my clan. You could say I was headhunted into the job.
I was going to ask if it was sort of a probationary period.
Yes, he knew who I was before I knew who he was.
So then, it was something you actively worked for and sought out? Being embraced, or...
No, I wouldn't say I sought it out. I didn't know it was a choice until it was presented to me. But I was given a choice then.
And so your work then at the court for your sire, what was it like? They said the Prince of DC?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that sounds important to me.
There's a lot of similarities to my life pre-embrace. Though a bit of a demotion if you look at it, though a promotion at the same time. Back to being a page in Congress, but on a much more immortal scale.
You worked in politics?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. There would be a few politicians who would come by. What I used to do, but not always.
So you were a driver?
Something like it, yes.
Though I imagine maybe not just picking up politicians and tinted windowed cars.
No, not that so much. A more, well, I just don't want to get into it tonight.
No, it's all right. Graham, I know I speak Italian, but am I familiar enough with it to pick up on Cora's last name? Or would that be kind of out of the scope of just like learning the language?
Oh,
Her
sorry, what
last
are you
name
asking?
literally means like violet. So it is a color.
Mm-hmm. Like I haven't been around for overhearing Cora drop any bits of Italian in her phone conversations. So I don't know if by knowing her last name, I could pick up like she and Savini just did on each other's last names. I don't know if I would know.
Are you asking if you know her last name or if
No,
you?
if
Okay.
by knowing her last name, I would know that she was probably Italian and not German because I've only known her as from Frankfurt.
I mean, in the introduction, you caught the last name. You
Hmm.
would have caught. Well, she says that she's been to Frankfurt, but I would say that that's not her accent.
Hmm.
And I would say that Cora is actually, you can hear her actively trying to sound like she's from the US, but
So
it might not always land. Um, but
I would say that based on bits and pieces of the accent, you would, other than the fact that you know she was in Frankfurt, you wouldn't immediately jump to German.
Hmm.
You would get European, and then based on the name, it would be a better guess to go with Italian off the top of your head.
Okay. So is Germany always your home?
uh, it's always my uh, home post death, I suppose. But no, before that, no.
I wasn't sure based on your accent.
Uh, yeah, I tried to make sure that I was sounding most like from the United States that I could, because you see, all of you, you have a lot of media. So when I'm dealing with international people and I don't speak their language, I have German, Italian, a little business Chinese.
Parli
Uh,
Italiano.
Cora will switch to Italian then too, interrupting her thought. It goes, "Oh, so you speak Italian then?"
Yeah, it's something I've picked up the past couple of years. And I feel like as they start to converse in Italian, every once in a while she will use like an older word for something that maybe sounds old-fashioned to you, but just like every so often.
I'll take it a step further.
Hmm.
It'd be more of a Latin root word, not Italian.
So I have a wonderful now connective tissue. Does the way that Kate speaks Italian in like a almost archaic remind me of the way that Essen would speak German sometimes?
Yes and no, and not for the reasons that you're thinking.
Okay.
This would be more, everything sounds like modern Italian, English, like proper grammar and vocabulary, but there'd be gaps that's being filled in. And then the
Interesting.
pronunciation is, uh, well, I wouldn't say that it's immediately Latin because how would you ever know what Latin's supposed to sound like? It's technically a dead
Would it
language.
almost be like someone drop like in English dropping in bits of like early modern English, like Shakespearean almost?
Pre-vowel shift English would,
So like a
so
Middle English.
where it would sound, depending where you are in England, it would sound either Dutch or it would sound French, despite the fact that you were saying the exact same word.
Hmm.
So there's little bits and pieces where things don't quite add up.
Or
And this is where you're finding how you're gonna sound a little weird to someone who speaks modern fluent Italian.
Hmm.
And in a way, it's like your universal translator's a little janked. There, some of the words that you're filling in the blanks with will work.
It didn't get the patch
Yeah,
for the past couple of 100 years.
it's missing something because as a result of how you learned not Italian per se, but how the Romance languages were approached, you were given a foundation of Latin first. Everything else was grafted on top of it.
You know, your Italian's very good, but sometimes I have to wonder, are you trying to speak Italian or speak Roman?
Well, if you met who I learned Italian from, would answer that question.
I see. So this isn't something you picked up in your political life, but your own life.
No, I've tried to supplement it with Duolingo a bit. It gets a little messy with some of verb tenses and how they're used nowadays.
Horace gotta laugh because there are much better options than that owl.
But it haunts me if I don't play.
So I'll give you a little further bit. During introductions on your first night, the name of her sire was given the old form, Vespasian.
That's true. Okay, well, if that hits for Cora, then... Oh. Vespasian was your sire's name, the prince said.
He hasn't gone by that name in quite a while. But at one point, yes.
Interesting. You know, I wonder if he knows Essen.
I don't know. I'm not at liberty to ask right now, but
No, you don't. I suppose you don't have that kind of relationship with him. I could probably ask Essen if you're curious. Would it get you in trouble?
Still get to call your sire?
Yes, I do.
Interesting. I mean, that's not up to me then if you want to ask, be my guest.
I'll do it later. If they know one another, I'm sure it'll amuse them.
I feel like at some point, over time, you're bound to meet those that have stuck around for that long.
That was my thinking too, especially if they're both rather important.
Atherson still hasn't come back at this point, and I don't have any messages from Innsbruck or anything yet.
You actually do get the interruption of footsteps. And Mr. Innsbruck does come into view, but it's a bit of a hurried step.
In that approach, Cora will make ready to excuse herself. I imagine that's probably who you're waiting for. Looks like he's moving with a purpose. We should continue this conversation sometime. It's been nice. Still speaking in Italian.
Well, it's good to finally chat, Cora.
Do you walk away from Innsbruck's approach, or do you pass by him?
I'll pass by him. Cora's
Okay.
that kind of person.
Okay. He will stop his stride, and he will address you. Miss Violante, was it?
That's right. Mr. Innsbruck.
Oh, good. You heard my name. I take it you've been told what I do, then.
Miss Fulton gave me a title. What it is exactly, I'm not certain, but I'm smart enough to guess.
I do apologize. I am in a bit of a hurry, but I'll give you the brief version. I help clean up messes on our side of the fence so that they don't spill over to other fences.
Is this the sort of thing that all of us can employ if it calls for it, or do you report directly to someone else?
Yes.
Okay, then.
but I would be very happy to give you my number in case you run into a problem that I can help correct.
Of course. Hopefully, if I do, it's somebody else's and not my own.
Well, for your sake. And he will trade numbers with you if you go for that.
Of course.
Apologies for being brief, but I have things to do.
No, of course, you're not here to meet me.
Gives you a nod, and he will stride over with a bit of purpose towards Kate's. And he does pull you into a bit of a sorkin as you're having to walk through the building a bit. He goes, I do apologize, Miss Fulton. I do have other business that takes priority this evening.
Understood.
I would take you out, but this is not something for first timers. Have you seen a Mr. Savini around this evening?
I don't believe I've met him.
No. He's going to take out his phone. He's going to make a quick call. You do hear a very quick conversation. Where are you? So am I. And the aforementioned
Marco Poloing through Elysium.
As a voice rings out from behind you as someone steps into view. Ah, that would be my other appointment. Unfortunately, we do have to get going. I'll make time for you over the next couple of days.
Next time.
Keep in touch. And he's going to take a look at you, and you see him wearing an all-black suit, black tie, and no vest, black shirt. And it has a very matted effect. It does not pick up light. It's not one of those Vanta Black kind of things where it just disappears into the spectrum. It is an actual
now I want
fabric.
him to be that much of a diva that he just dyes his clothes Vanta Black.
Well, you're really not going to enjoy some of the other things that happen in this game. We'll get to that later. But you get the impression that this was something that he can at least wear to things that does not pick up well from the light. He's going to look at you and say, very close. Get yourself a non-reflective dark jacket. Doesn't matter the color, just dark.
I'll do.
But this was a good start. It'll do in a pinch. While you're at it, gloves. I have some I can lend you, but good to have your own.
Got a Prime account.
He'll just smirk and he'll walk away. He, in the distance, will give a slightly curt acknowledgement of Costello as they walk out of the building together. Leaving Kate once again a bit adrift. But there are other people in the building, which we will get to afterwards.
Okay.
We're going to pan out to the person that's also in the building. And as we're wibbly wobbling just a little bit, back to Poppy being escorted into a familiar parlor where she met her primogen. You see from the back, in a silver suit, black turtleneck, one diamond-studded earring, hands in pockets as he's inspecting the decor. Maybe not seriously, but more killing time. And he looks over his shoulder. Ah, there she is.
Hi, good to see you.
Good to see you. Thank you, Atherton. Of course, if there won't be anything else, not at the moment, thank you. Give each other a little nod, and Atherton disappears wherever he goes. So,
So,
how was it? How was the track?
oh, it was brilliant. I had a great time. It was a definite needed celebratory moment after the bloody entrance, let's say.
I imagine you needed a little bit of a mental vacation even before that.
Why do you say that?
Papa, you're here.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I definitely needed a mental vacation for sure.
Well, I have two things to show you. Do you want to get out of here?
Absolutely.
Good. Okay. I got one rule.
Mm.
Despite everything you've been taught and everything you've seen me do,
Uh-huh.
and he's lowering his voice as he does get a little closer to you, his hands still in his pockets. No stealing.
Mm-hmm. And she
Oh,
kind of like shows
no.
off the jewelry just a little bit.
He did see it. He just. Oh, that is magnificent.
Thank you. Thought you'd appreciate.
It's a good touch. It's a good touch.
Thanks.
Does he know you have it?
I think so.
I guess we'll talk about that in the car.
If we have to.
Oh, we're gonna.
Oh, great. Sorry, but no stealing. There was just the one rule.
Yes, but it applies to both places.
Oh, great.
And
places.
second place is contingent on how you react to the first and any other
Okay.
conversation we have.
Okay. I like it. You've laid out some achievable little ground rules here.
I mean, achievable for me. Are they achievable for you?
Well, it sounds like I have to find out and see how I react to the first place.
Ooh. I think you'll like it.
Okay.
I think you're really gonna like it. That's the part I'm worried about.
That I like it.
Shall we?
Huh. Oh, yeah, we absolutely have to go now.
He's gonna lead you outside and chirp. And he leads you over to, oh God, what is this car gonna be? Because this has to be extravagant and ridiculous. And I'm thinking the nouveau riche of sports cars, which would be hypercar.
Cool.
I'm gonna go with whatever Pagani is putting out these days. My first thought is a Pagani Zonda, but that's a very old car by today's standards. We're gonna go with that just because it seems fun.
Love it.
Gull wing doors, mid-engined, ridiculous. It's the kind of thing that would have gotten rejected from late-stage Lambo for being too ostentatious and vulgar. The kind of thing that probably should have like machine guns drawn on it on a kid's like PlayStation or something. It's ridiculous looking. It revs to life. You can hear fire coming out of the back.
Oh, great.
And it doesn't J-turn. Or at least he doesn't make it J-turn. But it does skate out. There's that kick of dirt and gravel. That momentary in-place torque as the car, he's putting the gas down, but it stays in place for half a second. And you take off. You're trundling down the road back towards the gate, which is very swiftly opening because they can see this coming.
I've been in more race cars in the past 2 days than I have been in a while. Or ever, I should say.
Are you saying that to him or just
Yeah,
Helena?
no,
Okay.
no, Poppy will say that.
Okay. Well, as he veers onto the main road and heading into town proper, how did you get to town?
Uh, train, Amtrak.
Was that your first option or your only option?
I mean, it, it seemed the most logical option.
The hesitation's not selling it.
I know, I know. I think from what you have said to me in our limited interactions, you can probably guess the circumstances with which I made it here.
Mm-hmm. I have to ask. We'll get to the other shit, because that's
Okay.
going to be fun
Great.
for me. Not so much for you. I understand that.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Appreciate
How did
it.
you get from the train station to Wormslow?
Oh, a driver picked me up. He was nice, but it seemed to be he was like a hired driver, like an Uber or something.
Oh, you met him.
Yes.
Interesting.
Why is that? Is he employed by? And she gestures back to Wormslow.
It's a little bit of a local mystery. He kind of just seems to show up when some poor individual in need really needs a ride.
Oh, that is comforting and terrifying. Yeah, I mean, he was nice. He got me where I needed to go. He didn't come with me into the building.
No, it's pretty rare. A lot of people think he's a Malkavian. They tend to dial into some of the chaos and find sense out of it. And that's how he ends up where maybe he's needed. I'm not so sure.
I mean, he had a nice little Honda sedan. It's very sensible.
Almost too sensible.
That's a little freaky.
Isn't it?
Yeah. Okay. I feel like I've been, I mean, that is clear proof that I've been flying by the seat of my pants.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I am very glad that you have kind of taken me under your wing, as it were. I appreciate that. Yeah.
Well.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to rip off the Band-Aid now, or do you want to wait a bit?
Let's rip it off now,
Okay.
and then yeah.
Now
What is
the
it?
question. Okay. I was wondering if you were going to figure out which one I'm even talking about, because there are a few.
Listen, I feel like I've been ripping off band-aids for the past couple weeks, to be honest.
Okay, let's start with that then. What finally happened? It was always going to go that way,
Right.
but what? Give me all of the tea.
All of the tea. Basically, a job went tits up, and I found out in the heat of the moment it went tits up on purpose, which ended in me getting tortured for however long I was tortured, and by someone who was able to manipulate the room I was in, and it was terrible. And of course he got away with what he was actually after, leaving me to take the punishment for it. Wasn't great.
And he does lower some of the mirth and keep it somber for a little bit. You do pull up near a building, but he doesn't get out yet. I wish there was something else I could have said or done. But would you have listened?
No, I was not. I was not in the place or the mood or the state to listen to anyone. I had been given everything I'd ever dreamed about. And, any naysayers I would have discounted.
I could have told you that was his pattern, and it still wouldn't have changed anything.
I hate knowing that he's out there and he's going to do that again, too. He literally told me, "It's been fun."
Not the first time I've heard that. I'm sorry.
New chapter.
Hmm.
New, very, very long chapter.
And hey, want to know the bright side?
Please.
You're young and pissed off, and you can live a very long time.
True.
And maybe the next thing you take is his life.
Maybe. I mean, I wouldn't... I have dreamt about it, perhaps.
Oh, don't lie to me.
Yeah. Yeah, no, there is good. Somewhere.
Maybe we can figure that out.
That would be nice. I don't mean to... You asked. Never mind. I'm not gonna apologize. Yeah. I would, I mean, poetically love some comeuppance, a little justice. I don't know if you're familiar with my biggest pre-death achievement, but I have such a... Or I used to have such a good understanding of the beauty of revenge.
But that was before
Yes.
you knew about the world, behind the world.
Yes.
Now you can multiply it with such exquisite goddamn cruelty.
Yeah. Could be gorgeous.
I want you to think of all the extravagance we experienced the last time we saw each other.
I mean, clearly, I'm still thinking about, there are certain things that...
Yes, the first time
I'm
we
not
met
above
also
it.
went tits up, but a different way.
Yes, well, it was a good kind for me.
He looks down at the diamond platelet that you're wearing over the earrings and go, oh, clearly.
Mhm.
Long run?
A what?
Long run? Long
Wait,
run, did it go well?
Long run. In the long... Wait, I'm sorry, my brain is breaking. Are you saying in the long run,
Did it go well?
and what is the antecedent of it?
Everything.
Everything.
The
Thank you.
entire
The
relationship.
entire relationship, in the long run... I don't know. I'm neutral. There was so much good. And I guess
Was it?
the bad only came later. Well, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't have this. I wouldn't have met you. I wouldn't have understood this underbelly. I wouldn't have gotten out of fucking Stores, Connecticut. There is good. But then it...
Oh, I didn't
got-
realize you were from there. Get out.
Yeah, it's not as...
No, we're here. Get out.
Oh, okay. She'll get out of the car.
And it's a fairly nondescript building. Older, kind of a faded white painted stone. And there are wrought iron bars slid across glass doors, like a gate. And he
Mm-hmm.
goes, now here's the real question.
Mm.
You know what I can do. Yeah. You've at least seen some of it.
Mm-hmm.
The question is, am I breaking in or do I have keys?
Mm. I think you have keys.
What's your first clue?
You're too smiley to be breaking in. You're not thinking too hard right now, are
The
you?
first time I met you, I stole something off of you. I was smiling.
Oh yeah, that's true. You are smiley. First
I'm just
clue
a happy
is,
guy.
I
I
guess.
really like me.
I'm so glad you do. I'm so glad you do. I will have whatever you're having next time we're out. Um God, I feel so rusty. Okay, how do I know that you have keys? I don't know.
It's what I told you about what we were getting up to this evening. I gave you
Well,
a
you
rule.
said you were worried that I'd like this first place and that I wouldn't want to leave.
That was part of it. What did I say first? I gave you a rule.
Oh, no stealing. Oh, obviously.
Hmm.
I didn't know if that was just for me.
Well, but yes. One side of the gate ushers you through, closes it behind him, locks that. You're locked in there with him. He unlocks the
Great.
glass door, waves you in,
Okay.
locks it behind him as he steps in, flips on a light switch, and you are in a dazzling array of display cases, marble flooring, bespoke lighting sets of a jewelry store.
Oh, amazing.
And he's just watching you, what you do, but also looking around, just feeling a little bit smug.
Yeah, she's definitely gonna start just like rush up to the closest display that's in there and just look at what he's got in here.
Yes.
Perfect. Love that.
It makes sense why he can afford that car.
Mm,
Unless he stole that too, which is possible.
yeah. She's not gonna judge.
Hmm.
This is amazing. Is this your store?
I mean, I have the keys. Might as well be.
That's so great. Yeah, this is legit. Now, what are we doing here?
Well, I said to, about, and around you to the prince that you'd be doing some work for me here.
Oh, great.
So on occasion, I'll at least have you keep up the pretense that you are in fact here.
Ah, amazing. Though I wouldn't mind doing work here for you if you actually needed it.
Oh,
but-
no, that's genuinely going to happen. It's just not
Oh,
going
okay.
to be a 9 to 5.
Oh, bless.
I have people for that.
Okay. Amazing.
But you need to earn your keep a little bit, and you having some structure, I think, might be to your benefit. Because
Yeah.
you've been gallivanting without such for how long now? Don't answer that. I know the answer.
Yeah, yeah. No, that sounds good. Structure sounds good.
Mm-hmm,
I can get a planner. That'll be great. It'll fix me. She's like looking around at all the shiny things.
Did I just put you in the biggest den of temptation?
Slightly.
I know I did. I know I did.
Slightly. but
Mhm.
there's
Are you going to
there's
keep your
something to be
shit together?
said. Well, discipline, and I know you said no stealing, obviously here, but
Oh, steal anything you want from all over town, as long as it doesn't get you or I on anyone
Yes.
else's radar.
yes, and that may be the outlet that I need.
Mhm.
But I need to get to know the town a little bit better for that. But yes, no, temptation for sure. Discipline, I have.
Here's how you're going to learn the discipline to stay in one place for any period of time, rather than just going to a city, going to a party to steal things from. Think of it like you're casing the entire county,
Oh, that's fun.
right? Now it's a project.
It's a project. Oh, oh, excellent, excellent. Okay,
Hallelujah, she can be taught.
too much, too much. I know too much. Yes, a project sounds great,
Mm.
and this can be a sanctuary that I maintain for you.
More like occasionally I'll allow you to work here and get some actual commission,
Okay, cool.
so you can
That
have
works too.
legitimate money on top of anything else you might steal from someone else,
Someone else. Yeah.
and you fence with maybe someone I hook you up with. I know guys
Yeah.
everywhere.
I'm sure you do. Well, clearly you do. Excellent.
Now, walk around the place. Enjoy. If anything goes missing, though,
No. I put my hands on my head.
I've seen the dance. It didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody has. She'll start kind of walking around the cases,
Mhm.
occasionally kind of glimpsing like cheekily over at Nico, trying to like suss out. Poor dear puppy. If there's a transactional thing happening that she is trying to kind of gauge as she looks around at.
You're trying to see what he's expecting out of you.
Yes.
Okay. So when you're walking around the shop and you're inspecting the cases, you're, I guess, looking over your shoulder at him.
Mm-hmm.
Are you trying to provoke any kind of reaction to better gauge what his response is, what his expectations are?
I think so. I think she will look over her shoulder, point something out, maybe like lean over like one of the cases without getting her fingerprints on it, just to be like, see, I won't even get my fingerprints on here. Very flirty.
Okay.
Yeah. Trying to see if there's something.
Mm-hmm. He keeps his hands in his pockets in the way that you walk with a suit jacket, where you're seeing the very nice sheen of the shirt, which is clearly some silk or silk adjacent thing with a little bit of a sparkle to it.
Cool.
And since the suit was, while silver, it's the shirt that's doing the sparkle. And as you start looking over things and you're leaning over a case, he's going to lean over next to you and go, "What are you doing?"
Looking at your jewelry.
You're acting like you're trying to fleece me out of pool hall.
Huh? Oh. Oh. Yeah, I am. Sorry about
And he's
that.
going to turn and he's going to lean on the counter. Just, what do you think this is?
Well, I was trying to
Let's
figure
rip
that
off
out.
that band-aid.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's a good band-aid to rip off. I'm sorry if I made you feel uncomfortable in doing that.
Let's start that over again.
I'm very used to being And she like can't figure out how to say for a second.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm used to being needed for multiple things.
Mm.
So, old habits, I suppose. I'm sorry.
Okay, let's try this less um lurid. You think I have expectations? You think I have his expectations?
Yes. An assumption.
Mm. Okay. How do I put that? Stand up. He's going to look at the earrings. He's going to look at the diamond décolletage and just, those are all very lovely. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
No. I don't need you for that.
Great. That's actually a huge weight off my shoulder. Cool.
I still expect you to work for me.
Oh no, yeah, I'm totally that's great. That I will happily do that for you there. Al.
Kind of non-negotiable, but glad to know you're on
yes.
board.
Mm-hmm.
It was gross enough. Let's put that in the rear view, shall we?
That'd be good.
Yeah. Which makes my next question a lot easier to get into. You're going to need a place to live. You can't stay in the cottage.
Right.
They're going to kick you out today,
Soon.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
So you got to go somewhere.
Yeah.
So now you have an option. You can work here, part-time at least, as far as they know.
Mm-hmm.
But you're going to need somewhere to roost during the day.
Yeah.
Do you want to see where that is?
Yeah.
The question is, do you want to live with me, knowing now I have no such expectations?
I mean, that would be really great, actually. And yeah. Yes.
Okay. Here's the other part of that you're going to need to know.
Mm.
Do you remember the woman I introduced you to?
Yes. Oh, I feel like I made her feel worse than she already did.
Well, you're going to have a chance to make it up.
Okay.
She lives there too.
Okay. Cool.
So remember that whole thing about don't steal?
Mm-hmm.
Well, don't piss her off.
Mm-hmm.
Never give someone who's morose reason to get off the couch.
Okay.
She might look dainty, and she is. But I'm sure you've learned by now the tired, old, sad cliche that is very true of us. Every rose has its thorn, especially the oldest.
Yeah.
Shall we? And he's going to hold out his arm.
She'll take it.
And you're going to start taking a few steps. Now, you're going to tell me something, Poppy. Out of character.
Mm-hmm.
Did you or did you not try and fleece something while you were here?
I did not try to steal anything.
You did not?
I did not.
I feel like I need to insight check the player. But
I know, I really didn't. Poppy is really not trying to mess up her only chance at survival.
Okay. As you step out, he's going to get you to the car again. You feel the car rev to life. And in short order, you arrive within the historic district, the very north end of Forsyth Park, where you see a very large mansion with wrought iron fencing, white, gleaming white stone. I hope that you didn't leave anything at the cottage, because I'm not going back there tonight.
I can do without it. I'll go get it tomorrow or something.
Okay. Not with my car, but you can figure that out.
Oh, I'll figure it out.
Okay. We should. Can you actually drive, or have you just been a passenger this whole time?
I can drive. I just haven't in a while.
I think
I can drive though.
I think it's going to be part of your recovery process.
Yeah.
Not with my car.
No.
And you hear the creak of the iron fence opens. He ushers you through, closes it. And as he gets up to the door, he's going to go up to it, stops, takes a step back, goes, "Do I have a key or don't I?"
Oh, you totally have a key.
I don't.
What?
He just opens the door.
I don't. Okay.
And we're going to fade out there. We'll come back to final thoughts afterwards. Finally, Artem. You've been waiting a while. I do apologize.
You're good.
You have been taking stock of the land that you find yourself on. You've gotten a text from Misha. You have 2 numbers outside of people you've met so far. Your friend from the bar, the grid girl. Do you send them any messages, or do you just leave that be and focus on your work?
Oh, I gotta focus on my work tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Though, Misha, I did text back. So,
Okay. What did you send him?
I think he said we should talk, and I said when and where.
Mm-hmm. As you, I assume the first couple of hours is you walking around the grounds trying to figure out what needs work in what order, and coming up with some form of a list of priorities, of which you tell me if this is correct or not, that your guest house, because that's where you're going to be staying, just so you're not in the dirt every night, do you want to work on correcting that first?
Yeah, that probably makes the most sense. Start with the guest house, not like fully refurbish it, just make it so that, maybe I don't have to dig a hole every night. Guest house, get that livable, then the actual house, then probably back to the guest house, give it a bit of a spit shine.
And the land itself, and
yeah, that would be after.
So the landscaping isn't the issue. That's an aesthetic thing. Somebody else can worry about that. But in terms of clearing debris, dead trees, even just courting firewood. It can all be part of the same process.
Yeah, and he'll take note of things. Probably there are a lot of these things in the, just on the land that like, yeah, I could probably do this in 30 minutes, if I'm between things or, if I'm about to go somewhere, but I'm not yet, I can do that.
I would say the first couple of hours then, there's at least some modicum of tools that you can get started with if you want to make the guest house more appropriate. So you're not
Mhm.
looking like a dust devil every morning or every
Right.
start of every evening. For the most part, you could probably do that all in that first couple of hours. It's not that bad. It just needed some patchwork. Like the main house, it's not bad. It just needs effort and time.
Mhm. As he's working with the guest house, he's probably mentally making a list of like, okay, this would make this a lot easier. This would make this a lot easier. This works. This I don't have anything like, so I'm gonna need, something. Coming up with a fairly long list.
Now, the beauty of it is, as long as you're chipping away at it, this doesn't all need to get done all at once, but just showing that there is continued incremental progress. That's all that really matters right now. At least that was the impression you got. As you're finishing up the second hour of working on the guest house, you do get a follow-up text from, well, actually two people. Poppy, who has sent you the Atherton wants his car back. And Misha. Where's Lo?
Boards, one stone. All right. How's the guest house looking at this point?
It's looking like you'll be fine during the day at this point.
Nice.
There wasn't really much to be concerned about, just maybe a couple little spots. But that's enough. So now that you've really taken care of it, and you've probably cleaned up the area where you had dug in so it looks like an actual floor-ish, you're going to need to redo the floor at some point.
Yeah.
So it's a real floor.
That's phase 3.
Yeah. But you no longer have to be in the ground. There is an actual bed, and it's not just a shitty cot. You have a real bed. Maybe the first one you've had in a very long time, other than what you've had at the cottage.
It has been a while, yeah.
And you can choose to use that, or you could sleep under the bed if you're still paranoid. But unless you turn on a light, it is pitch dark.
That's a good sign.
Now, you are not sweaty because that's not how the kindred body works anymore. You don't tire in the same way, but you are covered in soot and grime and dirt from how you slept and just from moving things around and cutting things down and climbing up onto the house and working on that. Do you go into the house to get cleaned up, or do you just not care?
Yeah, I'll go to the house and get cleaned up. They seem like some fancy folk over in Wormslow. Might as well not track mud in Atherton's house if I'm stealing, or if I've already stolen his car.
You're able to actually, as you walk in, Chris just starts laughing.
What?
Second floor, third door to the right. You look like shit.
Thanks. He's going for it.
Towels are in the cabinet.
She's not so bad.
Does he say that out loud while she's still in earshot, or
No, but
does he just
he's
Jim
thinking
face at
it
the camera saying
he's
that?
thinking it very hard. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
In the interview with the vampire, which happens later, he'll say, "She's not so bad."
More of an exit interview. But you've been voted off Elysium. So, and you still only really have the one set of clothes, of which you've kind of mucked up.
Hmm. Hey, Chris,
What?
boss have any extra clothes lying around?
Let's find out.
All right, sure. He's not here, is he? Where is he?
Wouldn't it be great if he was just right behind you?
It would.
He's not actually home. As soon as you got to work, he went out. So she'll rifle through some closets.
I'm gonna send Alden a text borrowing some clothes.
Good. You look like shit.
Artem's looking down and he's wondering if he's just talking about the grime or if maybe tracksuits are not as popular here as they are back home.
As has been a theme tonight. Yes. She'll find you a dress shirt, but it doesn't quite fit because you're a fairly enormous stout lad. So you're gonna have to wear one of the undershirts and just leave the dress shirt open.
Yeah, that's fine.
But because of your probably Johnny Bravo-esque proportions, you've maybe not skipped leg day as much as they're not as much of a problem. So you're able to find pants that fit some manner of slack, but you're stuck wearing the same shoes. Did you take them off when you went into the dirt, at least?
Yeah, that's something he would know to do at this point.
Okay. Probably his own undershirt too, as well, except for the fact that he's been working in it. But you're able to find something passable. It's just that your shoes are not going to match. Except, actually, you tell me something. Was he wearing running shoes or was he wearing boots?
He probably would have been wearing boots.
Yeah. So it weirdly kind of matches. It's a bit of a more modern take of Little House on the Prairie. Do you tell her where you're going?
Yeah, sure. Let's say got to go to Wormslow. You want to go? You want me to pick up anything?
She peers around the doorway. Are any of your friends going to be there?
I don't know. Probably. I think some of them went back there last night.
Well, beat staying here. And she's going to grab her keys.
All right. Race you there.
No, idiot. I'm locking up the house. You're driving. She's going to walk by and she's going to have to jump to try and flick the side of your head.
Oh.
Do you let her?
Dodge action.
Dodge? Okay. I'm not even going to make your roll. I just imagine.
Do make me roll, because I want to dodge and flick hers instead.
Oh, okay. So we're just gonna make this Dex and Brawl just to make it simple.
Okay, sure. We've got a lot of die for that.
I imagine.
Let's see. That is 2 1s, so it is only 1 success.
Well, she got 3.
Ah,
So she was prepared, and it was lightning quick, and it's just this flick.
damn it. But he misses.
Just imagine she's flicked the temple, jumped down, already out of reach as your hand just catches air.
Arton will remember this.
See that you do. Finally, I get to go there without using the fucking speedboat. Okay, let's go. And she will lock up the house as you exit. You get in the car. And this time she's not fucking around with you on directions because she wants to get the hell away from the house. Wormslow, you get the impression, is not her favorite place, but she'd rather go there than be at home all night. Did you get to hunt your first night there?
My first night,
At Wormslow.
no.
We're doing that.
Sounds good to me.
Do you ask her anything on the way there?
No, just like pleasantry stuff, like, yeah, how long has she been around, that kind of thing.
When you say been around, to what are you referring to?
Probably referring to the nightlife.
Okay. She gets a little quiet at that. And a little more withdrawn. And she does sink in the seat a little bit and squirm, trying to find an ejection button does not exist in this car. Hurricane a while back. What about you?
It really happened a month after this, but got mixed up with some bad people. Wasn't going to survive the night. But then I did, because I don't know, she'd been watching me or something, I guess.
Did you have a choice?
I did. At least I think I did.
She gets a little quieter at that part.
You don't have to tell me, but I assume you did not.
There's this slight tremble to the lip, and then she looks away from you.
We don't have to talk about it.
There is a tremble of the shoulder of someone who is very quietly sobbing to themselves. But at some point, he does reach over for your hand. It doesn't go away.
No.
Mm. That quiet sobbing continues for a while. Until eventually, fuck! And she's realizing how bloody her face is. Because you do not produce what you would consider tears anymore. And she starts rifling through center console, through the glove box, looking for any kind of napkin or wet anything that she can just start getting this away from her. And at one point, she's using her own shirt.
Here, use this one. And he sort of like, I assume he has a sleeve. He can just put his hand over.
She brushes your arm aside, but it's not really rude in the sense of, for whatever reason, she doesn't want to dirty that. She's too busy to explain why. She's just frantically dealing with this. But you do get to the gates of Wormslow. And unlike the drama from the previous night, you are waved in without any incident.
I would have texted Atherton on tell him I was on my way.
Okay. I assume you would have sent that before you left the house then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also trying to drive honorably, I suppose.
Say again?
Also trying to drive honorably, I suppose.
Cute. You arrive at the front gate, or the front door of the house. Chris is still trying to figure out the bloody mess that she is, but it's not great. And she looks down at herself, looking at you, looking at the door, and her hands are covered.
You want me to go in, get you something, come back?
Just help me get out of the car.
Sure.
And she needs help with the seatbelt because she doesn't want to get blood over the place. And she rather sheepishly does not make eye contact as she says thank you. And as you help her into the house, Bruno pays no mind as you walk right by him, just a very curt nod. Opens the door as you're coming up, and that's the sum total of his reaction.
The great guy.
Atherton's walking up and goes, oh.
The keys?
He takes those, but he's looking at Chris. I'll show you where you can get freshened up. I'll have some spare clothes sent your way. Thank you. And he goes and sees to that. I believe a couple of your friends are wandering around upstairs, Autumn.
About Sokolov. Is he here?
No, but I will keep an eye out for him if you'd like.
Appreciate it.
Of course.
Where are who is here?
I believe a Miss Fulton and Violante.
Okay.
Miss Stewart was here earlier, but she left.
Oh, that's too bad. Well, if Chris asks, yeah, she'll probably want to hang out with us as well.
Understood. And I assume you go upstairs.
Yeah.
And you'll be walking up as I believe you were finishing off a conversation with Innsbruck, who is also passing by Artem with Costello, as we rejoin the timeline a little bit. And the three of you are in the same little piece of hallway.
I don't know how far away Cora went.
I probably haven't got far.
Hmm.
That exchange between you and Innsbruck didn't take long.
Hmm.
Atherton suggested that maybe he and I could talk afterwards.
Hmm.
So maybe I was going to be heading that direction.
Okay.
But, you know.
I would say then you are probably milling around upstairs in that hallway, maybe looking for either where to go, what to do, who to talk to. But
Yeah.
since the conversation between Kate and Innsbruck is very brief, and you see him leave with Costello, and a second later you see Artem coming up the stairs.
Huh.
So all three of you are in that same expansive hallway, maybe not right next to each other, but all within very easy line of sight.
Kate is on her phone, like adding a dark black wool moto jacket to her cart,
And gloves.
Funny.
and gloves and black jeans.
I guess Artem will approach, look back at Innsbruck, and say, "That guy really likes black, huh?
It helps in his line of work.
And what is that?
He's the cleaner.
Hmm. Gross."
Oh. Kate almost goes to be like, oh, wait, you're not one of the court people. But based on our inspection, he's like, I think he's got it figured out.
I've seen movies.
Or we'll walk up to
Yeah.
those two as this conversation is going on. Artem, good evening. Good to see you.
Good to see you. How is your third night?
The night's young, but it's good so far.
What about you, Kate, right?
Yeah. I'm have to add accessories to my online cart to match said individual who passed by.
Oh.
I get to do some job shadowing.
He kind of like looks you up and down like, yeah?
Yeah.
Wouldn't have guessed, but all right.
Don't put anything past Aventro.
Thinks back to what he knows about the Ventru. What did she say specifically?
I was going to say, do you know anything about the Ventru?
He does.
He does. In brief. Oh man, you know what? I only wrote down the stuff for the like weird clans. So what would Zoya have told him about the Ventru?
They aspire and project power. That they lead, regardless of anyone following. They will be made to.
He's not going to say what he's thinking, but what he's thinking is that seems kind of like grunt work, but whatever, I guess.
Artem,
Go ahead.
I hate to ask, but did you have a chance to give the Land Rover keys back to Etherton?
Oh, I did, yes.
Thank you. He was anxious. I don't know if Bobby told you, but we had a minor challenge at the gate.
What?
What constitutes a minor challenge?
Let's say I had 2 passengers and 1 seat, so I had to try to make it work, and
Where did you put Tabby?
you can check the record. I advised against it.
That's not an answer.
And yet I think it communicates just fine.
Did you put her in the trunk?
I didn't put her anywhere. She put herself there.
So wait, what happened then? Did they think you were trying to sneak her in?
They used an abundance of caution.
Or you have so much to learn about court.
Is she
As I'm discovering.
still with us?
She's present in the building, yes. Or
Oh,
was. I don't
okay.
know. She had someone coming to pick her up.
She didn't get maxed.
Not last night, at least.
Oh, tonight's...
there's
No,
something-
I'm not going to make that joke. That's too mean for Kate. That's a Dreamy joke.
Hey, commit to your bullshit.
Dreamy would say, well, the night is still young.
And you know, I've been learning some things too tonight. Did you know? But I mean, we're real, of course, but ghosts might be real too. Zombies, things like this.
Graham, would I know any about that?
Same question.
Say the question again, sorry?
Would I know anything about ghosts and spirits and all the things that Giovanni go bump in the night?
You would know what the Giovanni are. You wouldn't know any firsthand knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
You would have maybe heard something about what they do, but you've never witnessed it.
To be clear, I didn't say the word
Yeah.
Giovanni.
Mm-hmm.
That will shape my follow-up question to you, Cora. Where did you hear about that?
Boy, was that something it seemed like Salvini was saying in confidence?
Not really, as much as he's not boasting it.
Okay.
But he used his name, but he didn't go around saying Giovanni other than
Of course,
Clan.
of course. And Cora wouldn't be the kind of person to say, like, oh, hey, this clan person told me. She would use their name. A fellow that Poppy and I ran into in the library, Costello.
That's the second time I've heard that name tonight. It's just me.
Mhm.
I'll say that out loud.
Really?
Yeah, Innsbruck was looking for him.
He speaks Italian like you and I.
I imagine a little differently than I do.
A little bit. And a little bit different than I do, too. But yeah, anyway, he said he was a monster hunter.
Well, no wonder what Innsbruck was up to was not for newbies.
Say he was a monster hunter or a ghost hunter?
I mean, yes.
Interesting. So, wait, does he... Did you know werewolves are real?
I did know that, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, that one I did know.
So is he
You
hunting...
know, I asked the question once, but sometimes my sire, he liked to be a little obtuse with his answers.
I mean, I guess if there's no practical reason, then doesn't need to tell you. But yeah, if he's a monster hunter, then does he hunt wolves? I might need to talk to him.
Oh, I can say. It was a brief meeting, but
What was his name?
Costello Savini.
Have to try and meet him.
I would say you got the impression more ghosts, zombies, spirit, more in the afterlife realm of things rather than
And I agree
early
based on the
beasts.
contents of the conversation.
Mhm.
Because yeah, I might get a chance to see what he does. So
Should invite me. I want to see him hunt a werewolf.
I'll ask. We're going to have a bigger vehicle if I'm going to be driving, though. I'm not putting anyone in the trunk again. I don't think you'll fit.
It would probably be okay if you just send a text ahead.
Or I will think for a moment, go, I still don't want to do it.
Okay. With the trio here, what is it that you would like to do from here? Do you three want to try and find some trouble to get up to?
I think I'd like to take a tour and see if there are any of them true, either that I have met or that might spot me that I haven't met here in Elysium.
Okay.
There are those, and if there are any of those, especially like, oh, we should chat people that I haven't gotten to chat with yet or around.
Okay. Artem, what would you be wanting to do?
So hunting sounded good. Obviously meeting with Misha is that's the story quest, right? So looking to do that. Other than that, though, he's just hanging out. He could get into some trouble.
Cora.
Similarly, Atherton suggested that they speak, so she'll do that at some point if we're splitting up.
Okay.
But I will go ahead and ask too, since Artem was on like bodyguard duty the previous night. And did you come here by yourself?
Oh no, my friendship t-shirt buddy is here with me.
Friendship t-shirt buddy? What did I miss last night?
Just the Burles has me looking after some of his personal affairs, including child, is that what you say?
He must either
Christiana. She's a
trust.
lot of
Right.
fun.
He must either trust you a lot or hate you a lot. Which is it?
I don't know. We'll see in a couple of days, I think. He's probably still deciding too, honestly. I haven't been here very long.
Is she busy? I'd say hi again.
She's just cleaning up some stuff. She spilled something in the car. She'll be done at some point.
Okay, well, I hope it's no problem.
She actually asked about you. Not you specifically, but like she said, are your friends going to be there?
I'm glad she had a good night.
I think she had a great night.
And almost as if her ears are burning, she is trudging up the stairs in a fresh shirt. Oh, you are here. Oh, tell me we're getting up to something. That we're not just sticking around here.
You must be Christiana.
Yeah. Sorry, who?
Kate Bolton.
Oh. 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 Yeah, that makes sense.
What does that mean?
Uh,
And she's not going to say it like accusatory, just like,
Splash Zone?
oh, right, yeah.
Where were you last night?
Getting set up at home. Was at the racetrack for a little while.
Now, are you fun like them or unfun like him?
I don't know. I don't
You're
know what
unfun
kind of.
like him. Okay. Cora, what are we doing tonight?
uh, well, Titus asked me to go back, but that's, more of the same, so.
Not really anything going on there tonight. Could go back to the bar. Uh-huh.
Like I've been saying, I'm a free agent tonight, so I don't mind.
And she looks over at Artem. Didn't you have someone to meet here?
I do.
And she starts backstepping towards the stairs.
No.
The fun train's leaving.
No, it isn't. You can wait till I've had my
And
special
she
private
starts
meeting.
sprinting.
Well, she's not getting far without a car.
Didn't Cora win a car last night?
And that's where we're going to end tonight.
Can I say like just two quick things?
Okay.
One, I want to look at Artem and go, oh, he definitely hates you. It's that one. And two, as Cora leaves, I want to send her a text. I'm finally going to reply. It's going to say, you should stop by so we can continue the conversation. Bourbon or coffee? And we'll just end with that question.
Okay.
I didn't hear what you said. It cut out.
It's fine. I'll wait to respond until next time.
Before we head out for tonight, we're going to go around the table and see what people are thinking, where they're at. We're going to start with Poppy because she's been off screen the longest now.
I think as Poppy is like entering into this mansion, she feels like a wave of calm kind of come over her, of like, oh, thank God we're back. We're so fucking back, girl. We are back. And yeah, I think some actual gratitude for this situation. As weird as it was to get to here, this feels really cool. Yeah, so I think she's in this kind of like overwhelm, calm, confusing little I'm not using the word vortex again, but a confusing little combination
Churn.
of things. A churn, yeah, that's what it is. It's a churn. It's like a stormy kind of feeling of just calm, and if I move anything, it will break. So I better just sit in this for a little bit.
Let's go with Cora next.
Cora's got this interesting sort of feeling that, like, almost as if her Frankfurt experience has extended itself and bled over into what she's doing now. There's a lot more people that she's talking to, but there's that same freedom to do whatever she wants. For now, that is enjoyable to her. Meeting 2 Italian speakers tonight was also a rare treat. And being able to pull on some of those strings of, like, she is a very young kindred. And so getting into this idea of, oh, there are these other things out here, there are these other clans, there are these parts of this world that are still so new. That's really interesting and exciting. Let's go touch it. Let's go put my arm in the sun.
And I have to assume, maybe not at the forefront of her mind, but somewhere, she is starting to realize that free agent life is about to run out of track.
Yeah, I think that the conversation with Kate, especially as fun as it was, in some respects helped reinforce that, oh wow, this person who arrived with me is a lot more prepared for some of this than I am. So, yeah.
Well, then that transitions nicely to Kate.
She feels much more at home interacting here at Elysium than she did at the racetrack. This is much more her domain, quote unquote. Yeah, she feels more comfortable in these interactions here with her fellow new bloods. Feels like she passed some small kind of test with Innsbruck, even though she didn't get to go out with him. And is maybe getting more courage to reach out to someone like Halsey about the security company, but is intrigued to see who else might be here and what other conversation she can have tonight.
Okay. Artem.
Feeling pretty good about what he was able to get done, at least. Somewhat anxious to see whether this discussion with Misha is going to lead anywhere, or if it's just going to be, something that branches out into something else. And he was looking forward to doing some hunting, but it looks like he might not be able to do that, so that's kind of irritating. But
nobody has left the estate yet. Things can be adjusted. People can be chased. And the people with car keys is not the person that wants to go hunting.
That is true.
So she can run out the door all she likes, but unless she wants to walk.
Which she doesn't.
Maybe she does. But Cora may still have other meetings to have here before she goes anywhere. Unless she wants to bail on that. But we will dive into that next time. For now, thank you for joining us. We hope to see you next week. Please check our D&D game on Tuesday and check our socials and Discord for any updates on events or our schedule. Thank you so much for joining us. Thanks for watching. See you soon.